Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I'm Arif, your cloud learning journey partner. So in today's video, I'm gonna talk about top 5 mistakes that we must need to avoid when we start our cloud journey. So you have made your mind that you want to learn cloud computing. That's an excellent choice because cloud computing is one of the major growing sectors in IT industry. More and more companies are moving their on-prem infrastructure to the cloud, which means more jobs for cloud engineers. So when we start to learn cloud computing, we should have a very clear roadmap, like which strategy you need to follow to learn cloud computing. Well, when I started my cloud journey, I did all these mistakes. So these mistakes are from my personal experiences. So I really want you to be a successful cloud engineer. So if you avoid these major 5 mistakes, it will help you to gain all the insights, all the knowledge that is required to become a successful cloud engineer and land to your dream job. So please stick to the end to this video because it's gonna help you to save a lot of time and energy. Before starting the video, I just want to talk about myself. Well, I am Arif. I do have more than 9 years of experience in cloud computing and cybersecurity. I hold multiple certification in major cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and I also have the CISSP and CCSP certification, which we can consider kind of like the industry standard of cloud security certification. Well, this channel is all about cloud computing, cybersecurity, and IT career related tips. So if you are really interested in this field, this channel is definitely for you. So please like and subscribe to my channel so that you can see my upcoming videos. Without further delay, let's explore the top 5 mistakes that we must need to avoid when we start our cloud journey. To explain it better, I have logged into my AWS personal account. So here's the thing, whenever we're talking about cloud computing, we're talking about 3 major cloud platforms, which are AWS, second one is Microsoft Azure, and the third one is Google Cloud. So today I'm going to just focus on AWS because this is the industry standard of cloud platforms. So the first mistake that we usually make when we start to learn cloud computing, especially AWS, and I made it too, is that we get too excited and we straight jump into the advanced topic of cloud services. For an example, like if I click this service button in here, there are hundreds of services. So these are the categories, and they have a lot of subcategories like different services. For security, they have different services. For compute, they have different services. Database, they have different services. So we feel like we need to cover it all, and it all looks like a lot of fun to explore. And we usually don't create a complete roadmap, like which services we need to focus more, which services are the core, and we just randomly try to learn stuff. Like we feel like serverless architecture is a big thing right now. We start to learn about serverless architecture without having a prior idea like how this whole server thing works. So what we can do in this case is that we can shortlist at least like 8 to 10 services, core services of the cloud provider, and we can first tackle those core services. Because once we have a strong foundation, once we know the core concepts, then it's way much easier for us to build on top of this and to learn the more advanced services. And this way we will have a very solid foundation, and the thing that we're going to learn, it will stay with us for a long time, and we can explain it better, we can deploy in a better way. So here I'm going to list few services that we should focus at the very beginning in our cloud journey. So let me scroll up in here a little bit. So compute is always a big part of cloud computing, and under compute we can first focus on EC2. We need to know everything related to EC2, like how EC2 works, how to deploy EC2 servers, what are different capabilities and functionalities we got for EC2. So we need to know the ins and outs of EC2, and then we can also learn a little bit of Lambda. Lambda also helps us to create a lot of automation, create a serverless architecture, so we need to learn Lambda. And now I'm gonna focus on containers, because container is a big thing right now, because many companies are following this Docker container scenario where it's not dependent to a single workstation, so they can create an image and this image can run anywhere. So we need to learn a little bit about AWS ECS, that is Elastic Container Service, and that's enough for as a beginner, and later we can focus on this more advanced container services like Elastic Kubernetes Service and some other cool services. And database is a big thing in cloud computing, because we must need to have database to run our application securely, and we need to know how to deploy database in a secure manner, and what security best practices we need to follow. So for database, as a beginner, it's good enough to know about RDS, which is stand for Relational Database Service. And if we are interested into this NoSQL database format, then we can look into this DynamoDB. So RDS and DynamoDB is a good starting point for database. After that, let's focus into this networking and content delivery. Networking is a big part of cloud computing, so we need to know like how things are working, because when we are deploying something in the cloud environment, it's very much needed. Like it should have a public IP, private IP, should have a network gateway, it should have a subnet. So we need to know about networking, and the best way to learn more about the network ecosystem of cloud is to learn VPC, virtual private cloud. Here you will have the understanding about subnets, about your VPC, your gateways, your security groups, and everything. So this is a core service that you can focus as a beginner. And security is a very, very important part of cloud computing, because whenever a company is moving their data from on-prem to the cloud, their main concern is like whether the platform is secure, whether the data, their sensitive data is secure, is there any chance of data breach. So you need to focus on security services. You can focus on AWS IAM. You can look into this AWS WAF, which protects the layer 7 applications. There are, then also we can look into AWS Guard Duty, which is a ML based solution that helps to make sure that our environment is secure, there is no breach going on. AWS secret managers, where we can save our secret keys, our sensitive information securely, and we can call it whenever we need it by APIs. Mistake number 2 is not keeping the cost in check. So what happens when we create an AWS account? We want to play with different services, and sometimes we spin off some very powerful services, and we forget to delete those services later. And later, after a month, we'll have a big bill from AWS. So we need to make sure like whatever services we are playing with, whatever things we are deploying, we need to clear up all those resources, because this is more of like test scenario for now. And the best way to do it is if you go to this billing and cost management console in here, there are very cool features. So here we can create a budget if we really want to keep it in check. So under here we can create a budget, like hey, maybe it's for your test environment, like you want to learn cloud more thoroughly. So here you can create a budget according to unit, maybe $10, maybe $50, and you can create a budget and you can set alarms with the budget. So what it's gonna happen, like when you will hit the threshold, maybe you have put like $10 of budget, and it has surpassed the $10 threshold, then you will get an email with all the information like, hey, your AWS bill is crossing the threshold that you have mentioned on the budget. This way you can easily track it. And also you should actively maintain this. So maybe once a week you can log into your console, you can come to this budget section or this cost management section, and from here you can click here the bill, and under bills you can see all the bills that all the services you have deployed and how much it's charging you. So cloud is a wonderful thing if you know how to deploy it, how to secure it, how to maintain it. So if you don't take care of these things, it easily add up, and within a few weeks or within a month you can see a lot of charges under your account. So the best way is to do is to create a budget. You have to actively maintain it so that you can avoid all the big bills from your cloud provider. Mistake number 3 that we usually make when we start to learn cloud computing is ignoring the security basics. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to learn more about security and implement security at the very beginning of your deployment. Like whenever you are planning to deploy anything, whenever we are planning to create an architecture, the first thing that we should focus on is how we can make this infrastructure secure, how can we secure our data. So to learn more about security, here is a separate section in AWS. They have a lot of services under this security, identity, and compliance section. So remember, whenever we are deploying something on cloud environment, it's more of a like shared responsibility in terms of security. So the cloud provider has some security responsibility, and also as a user, as a cloud engineer, we also have some responsibility related to the security, and we have to fulfill all of this requirement. So for instance, like you are deploying an architecture in cloud environment and you do have very sensitive data. So whenever you are thinking about this data, you need to make sure that at every level the data should be encrypted. So there won't be any chance of any data breach. So when data is in transit, when the data is at rest, it should be encrypted. So what you can do, so if you are using AWS EC2, your EBS volume need to be encrypted. Then if you are using RDS, the RDS DB need to be encrypted. And if you are kind of like concerned about the firewall security, you need to make sure that your EC2 security group has all the required permissions. It is blocking all the unwanted ports, and in this way you can make sure that things are pretty secure. So there are a lot of security services like that can you use, like AWS IAM, where you can manage like who can access your infrastructure. You should enable the MFA, you should regularly rotate your access keys. There are a lot of things related to security that you know. But let me tell you one thing: if you learn the security part of AWS or any cloud platform, is a blessing for your skill set. Because think about it, there is a job opening related to cloud computing sector, and you have applied for it, and you know a lot about the security part of cloud computing. In the interview, if you show your skill set, if you describe like how you can secure a cloud platform, it's always a very good signal for the employer, because security, if you know cloud security, it's a huge deal for any company. So your chances to get the job will be much higher. Mistake number 4 that we need to avoid as a beginner of a cloud journey is not automating early on. So what do I mean by it? Well, here is what happens. Like when you start to learn a cloud, we think like yes, I am learning this thing, and we focus more onto the services, and we don't give that much of emphasis on automating. So automation is a blessing for us. Like for an example, if you have a very huge infrastructure and you need to replicate it in a different environment, if you want to do it manually, it's going to take a lot of time and energy, and you have to be extra careful, because there should be many dependencies. So what you can do in this case, you can create a template and you can use the template in CloudFormation to replicate the complete infrastructure using just the code. And once you run the code, boom, you'll have the complete replicated environment in a different region or different account. So this makes life way easier. You can do some automation using Lambda functions, where you can take you can trigger some specific events, you can monitor certain resources, you can do automated backups. So the the whole idea, the point is that whenever we start to learn cloud computing, we should also focus on the automation. Automation will help us to become more efficient, to make sure things are pretty much under control. And for doing automation, we may need to have some programming experience. And if you know Python, then you can easily use your script under the Lambda to do this automation. You can create some code pipelines where all the changes to your code repo will be pushed to your application easily using the code pipeline, code build. So automation, the more you can do automated things in your cloud environment, the more efficient your job would be. So please focus on the automation. Mistake number 5 that many beginners make whenever they try to learn cloud computing is neglecting the networking fundamentals. So let me go to this networking section, which is here, networking content and VPC. I'm gonna explain you why it's important to learn the basics of networking whenever you are learning cloud computing, because it's the major part of cloud computing. Here under VPC, you will know exactly like how the whole cloud computing thing is working. For instance, you are deploying a EC2 server to your cloud environment. So you need to know like how this EC2 server is interacting with the internet. What is the public IP? What is the private IP? What is the functionality of subnets? If it's a public subnet, the server can be deployed in the public subnet or in the private subnet. For instance, like you want to learn a web application, right? And for that, you need to have a web server and a database in the private subnet. So you need to know like what sort of network setting it is more appropriate for the web servers, and what kind of network configuration is needed for the RDS databases. Should they put in a public subnet? Should they put in a private subnet? And we need to know the fundamentals like the route table configuration, the internet gateways, what is elastic IPs, how can we configure the NAT gateways, at what scenario it makes more sense to have NAT gateway, and how we can configure the network ACL, security groups. So there are a lot of nitty-gritty details of the networking section. But let me tell you one thing, once all these concepts are clear to you, then you can see the big picture, like how one service is interacting with another service, and how you can create a very powerful system, and you will have an end-to-end understanding, which will make your job way easier to you, because you know exactly where the things could be a problem, how to troubleshoot a particular thing. So for that reason, whenever you are starting to learn cloud computing, please focus on the networking concept, specifically VPC. Try to understand each and every subsections, the features that VPC provides. It will make your life way simpler, and you will feel more confident whenever we are deploying, whenever you are securing something in a cloud environment. Congratulations for reaching this far of today's video. Into this video, we have explored like top 5 mistakes that we need to avoid when we start to learn cloud computing. I learned it the hard way, but I really want you to be more efficient with your learning process, so that's why I made this video. If you guys have any questions or any doubt related to these mistakes that I mentioned today, please let me know in this comment section, and I'm going to reply in a very short period of time. Thank you so much guys for watching my videos. It means a lot to me, and if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel so that you can see my upcoming videos. Well, that's all for today. Have a great and wonderful day.